This is an old one from 2021, but it really hits for right now. It's called Reactive. Raw, exposed, cold, nerve. It's all too much. Everything is fine until it's not. The smallest event, avalanche is over me. I can't help but crash into myself. If a piece breaks, I smash it. If I've already messed up, I ruin myself. I'm so tired. I want to forgive myself. I feel like the past few weeks have been like a lot of that, being really hard on myself. And over the past few years, I have been making myself be comfortable in exterior environments that I was previously not comfortable in, i.e. New York, and then now Africa, taught me a lot about how to manage my physical reality. But now I'm trying to make myself more comfortable in emotional spaces, like not having something to smoke all the time or spending a lot more time with my family, because that's not always easy. And having the patience. I'm trying to make my nervous system comfortable in different energetic environments rather than just the physical ones. And I've shown myself that I can do that for the physical ones. So I have high hopes about the energetic ones. I know I can do it. I've done it before. In trying to convince myself to want to do it, I would think things like, it'll be like setting yourself free. And it's only been 2 days, but I do feel so much more free. I don't know, I feel like a weight has been lifted. Because ever since I knew I would be leaving Lindblad soon, because that was where I started smoking, because that was where all of the best conversations happen, was out on the smoke deck. And it was the main place I feel like that you could really connect with people, honestly. And I always said I would quit when I quit the boat. And the last kind of final push was to quit smoking, to close this chapter. Which, how long was that? It's 2026 years. So I quit smoking because I've had this cough and kind of been wheezy for the past few months and couldn't find it in myself to stop. And I kept being like, I know I need to. And it wasn't, yes, my body has been with nicotine for the past few years, but every time I quit, it's more so the act of smoking that I miss. Going outside, having a moment to yourself, just, not having anything to do but just sit there for a few moments. And I know you can give that to yourself. Otherwise, I have brilliant friends who did that, and I would sit and smoke with them. I don't know. I kept knowing that I wanted to do it and kept feeling like I needed to do it, feeling in my body, my body was like, stop, please. And kept just getting to this point where I'd just be like, I just want to smoke. Oh my God. I don't think I've ever made that voice before. And getting to inner meltdown mode, not ever really letting it reach outside. But for the past 2 weeks, which has also been eclipse season, a lot of change has happened in the stars in the past 2 weeks. That's kind of manifested for me in just low energy. I think my period's gonna come soon too. Mental fog, feeling guilty, and just not well. Yeah. And I realized the other day, because I have all of these Post-it notes on all of my mirrors. One of them says, I love my healthy and strong body. And I was reading this and felt the incongruency in my body. I knew that wasn't completely true. And also I knew what I needed to do about it. But I kept not doing it. And I kept feeling awful. And years since I left New York. Just talked about this in the episode I just finished editing, but I really worked on improving my self-talk so that I wouldn't get to a place where I was bullying myself again. But I feel like the past 2 weeks I've been there again, and just like getting to a point where it's like making me question every relationship in my life, including like my best friend of almost 20 years. I'm like, I feel so insecure. Like, please tell me you still like me. Please tell me you still want to be my friend. Which is insane. And I know that. But I realized that behaving in a way that isn't true to you, and this can manifest in so many ways, but behaving in a way that isn't true to you adds stress to your body. Like, another example of this, a few years ago during COVID, I was, like everybody else, really on TikTok and saw this woman who transitioned much later in life, and she was going to tell her doctors, and her cardiologist was like, oh, this is going to be so good for you. A lot of your problems might go away because you're not putting this extra stress on your body anymore by behaving as a person that you're not. And also, I know this is stupid, but with letting go of smoking cigarettes, you look so cool. You look so cool, and you feel sexy when you're not coughing. And just like I don't give a fuck kind of vibe. And I worry that I will lose that. And also, not just that, it is a way to bond with people, even when you don't speak the same language. Like, when we went to the Asmats in the Southeast Pacific, one of the civilizations that's like least touched by quote unquote civilized society, or like, I guess a better word would be like industrialized society. Although we did see 3 smartphones while we were there, but we couldn't speak their language. They spoke their own, like, just the Asmats language. So we couldn't communicate with them, and really wanted to connect somehow, because that's always what I'm trying to do anywhere. And we went 2 days, luckily. The first day I noticed that a lot of people were smoking, and I usually didn't bring my cigarettes off the boat because that wasn't what I was trying to do while we were like on the activities. I wanted to do the activities. And so, but then the next day I brought them because I was like, I want to bond. I want to, like, participate with these guys. And we ended up accidentally going into the men's room, my friend and I. They had like a whole building where the men would sit and smoke and chat. And I don't know where the women's room was, but the men's room was right on the edge of the river. And so we went in there, and then like I gave someone a cigarette, and we all smoked, and we were just like looking at each other, and it felt like a thing. Like, and these 2 elder guys came up and like gave me and my friend like these specific handshakes, and it was all really interesting, and none of it would have happened had I not smoked. And I also know being healthy and not coughing or being congested is also sexy, but I want both. So I bought a bunch of herbs that hopefully I'll be able to smoke, because I'd already switched to hand rolled. So now it's just different what I'm putting in them. And hopefully I'll be able to smoke those without having a cough. So we'll see how that goes. But it feels good to actually be listening to my body, because I was ignoring it for a while. For a few years. Because every time I would smoke carts as well, like the the weed that's in a wax, I would get a really bad cough, especially if I was on the boat, because you also get a mold cold there, because there's mold in all the rooms, and you're sleeping in there. And so that combo was really did a number. I had a really weird cough when I first got to Italy for my pilgrimage in August in 2023. But it's interesting how it's starting to feel like the fog is being lifted. Like these past 2 weeks have just felt so dense, like so easily going towards negative point of views, like doom and gloom, and just like being really hard on myself. And I know that's also been, being hard on myself because I'm doing I was doing a lot of the coping mechanisms that I know don't make me feel good. Like eating a lot of sweets or just like eating too much, eating a lot of processed foods, like all of that stuff that I know doesn't make me feel good, but I was just doing because, I thought my period was coming sooner. I thought that's why I wanted all of the sweets and all of the food. But I think it was more emotional eating, but from like a more of a numb state. Like I feel like I've wanted to cry a few times the past few weeks, but haven't really been able to let the moment completely wash over me, because a few times I think it was when I set up my flea market booth, I almost wanted to cry because it's just stressful. Like it's every time you do it, you're having to then, like, people ask you how much it is, and most of them are things that I've had for years that I was like, kind of know how much I spent on it, but it's also a flea market and I'm also trying to get rid of it, but it's still just like, that also feels like a sort of incongruency of like, you can't sell it for that much. And it's also constantly being asked what it's worth. Like that's a huge thing to have to think about, because it's like, this is all my stuff, all of these. If I was selling them for what I actually thought they were worth, it would be much more. But I feel like now doing it, having done it twice, 2 weekends, I feel more familiar and comfortable with it all. So it feels less scary, gratefully. And in general, I think I feel better about life in general. I realized that I was really trying to bully myself into quitting smoking was, I guess, the main thing. I mean, that's the main example I can think of, because it'd just be like, why the fuck can't I do this? Like, I've done this before. Like, I know I need to do this right now. I know my body doesn't feel good. Why can't I do this? And just like kicking myself over and over again in my head. Obviously that didn't work. I was thinking the other day, it's like, wait, when was the last time I was soft with myself? When was the last time I had patience? I saw a few people talking about, like, when was the last time you practiced self-compassion, and what would that look like for you right now? And I was like, damn, I haven't done that in a really long time, especially for the smoking thing. I think because I'd done it before. I don't know if I just don't want to believe that I have an addiction, but every time I don't have it, I'm fine. Or most of the times when I don't have it. Like if I actually don't have access to it, I'm okay. I don't have like freakouts. My body isn't shutting down. Maybe that's just what I want to believe. I've been trying to gentle parent myself in my head. Anytime something comes up, I'm like, hey, it's okay. It's okay that you feel this way. There is this one song at the Rainbow. The key to all liberation is surrendering to every situation. Even though I feel this way, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. And we would sing it all the time. And it works so well to just kind of snap you out of whatever you've been thinking about it. Making myself be comfortable in exterior environments that I was previously not comfortable in, i.e. New York and then now Africa, like taught me a lot about how to manage my physical reality. But now I'm trying to make myself more comfortable in emotional spaces, like not having something to smoke all the time or spending a lot more time with my family, because that's not always easy. And like having the patience. Yeah, like I'm trying to make my nervous system comfortable in different energetic environments rather than just the physical ones. And I've shown myself that I can do that for the physical ones. So I have high hopes about the energetic ones. I know I can do it. I've done it before. This is making me think of how when you want something and it's not coming and you're like, why isn't this happening? It's because you're not the person yet who can hold what you want, who can hold it and keep it responsibly and maintain it. Because you don't want to get what you want and then ruin it, you know? And so I felt for the first time that in myself, like, it's like, oh, okay, so this anxiety, you can't let it affect what's happening in your life, because I guess this is like speaking to myself. You can't let this anxiety affect your life because you won't be able to hold what you want. Like, if I had acted on all of the anxiety that I had been feeling these past few months, like, I would have gone back to old ways of being, of like the ways that I was trying to grow out of, the parts of myself that I was trying to leave in the last chapter. And like, I almost did. Like, when I moved all of my stuff out of New York, like, I was prompted to call my cousin through getting an email about a contract, and I was like, nothing's happening at home, like, I have to go, like, I have to do something, like, da-da-da-da. And then I just ended up going to New York without the contract because one of my other friends from the boats took it. Thank you, Tyler. And just not immediately escaping to somewhere that is like a Band-Aid. Well, that's really dramatic, but to somewhere that feels like a safe hell. That's like a Band-Aid over a bullet wound. Like, it's so much fun, but it's not the place for me to grow. More than I already have in the past 5 years that I've worked there. Like, I did all the growing that I need in this stage of life there. I have such a stubbornly optimistic point of view that I won't really accept a negative one because I don't have time to feel through that again. Like, I know I can get what I want. I know I deserve what I want. And so this anxiety, this is just the first time I've been like, oh shit, okay. Like, I can feel where this anxiety could go. And it's the anxiety about losing whatever I want, obviously. I feel like I'm just noticing more like the self-sabotage habits that we all have, but this is the clearest I've noticed them within myself. I feel like we don't have the patience to let something good happen sometimes because we're scared that it's not going to happen at all. So then we back out of it or break it down and don't let it flourish because we're scared that it's not going to work. So then we just, to get control back, end it ourselves. Because then at least we know what's going on. We know where it's going. We know what we're doing. We're ruining it. But obviously that's not a way to get what you want. I just had a thought about anxiety. Anxiety feels like rushing to me. And when I think about rushing, like, it feels uncomfortable. like you're wanting to get out of this moment sort of thing. And when I think about anxiety, like I'm driving right now, and I just had dinner or lunch with my family, and we were in this like really crowded restaurant, and I was just like, I cannot do this, I have to get out of here. Like, had a full like crying thing because the restaurant was so overstimulating. And so and now I'm leaving, and I took my jacket off because I was still feeling really tense. And I took my jacket off, and I feel so much better. And it made me think about, okay, so I was really uncomfortable. Like, I didn't realize how uncomfortable I was because it's also cold outside. But it was like, I had my shoulders like pulled up to my ears, and the jacket, like, collar was really small. And so it was just like so many things. And took the jacket off, and immediately I'm like, oh, okay. Because I'm also driving. I already said that. And I kept being like, oh, these people are in my way. And it just was a lot more stressful than it needed to be. Like, I'm like, why am I having such a bad time right now? And anxiety feels like rushing. Like, I feel like it makes you feel like you have to rush through the moment. Like, it takes you out of the present moment because you're so uncomfortable. You're trying to get out of it. But it's like, what can you do to make this present moment more comfortable so you don't have to rush through it? Like, I took my jacket off. And I'm listening to Maggie Rogers. What can you do to make this moment more comfortable so you don't have to rush through it? That's such a good thought. It's also interesting. I was just reading something about how emotions only last 90 seconds in the body. And like, this also reminds me of how oftentimes when you're trying to break a habit, all you need is just like a few more seconds to make a different choice, or like you're trying to change your life, whatever you want to call it, you know? And I was saying how I never let the meltdown get out of my head, but I don't think I ever let myself wait the 90 seconds to like let the emotions pass. Like, I think about okay, I did actually. I would, but it's still interesting. I don't know. Like, you can do most things for 90 seconds, anything reasonable for 90 seconds. And so you can wait for 90 seconds to see if you can make a different choice. I can wait for 90 seconds to see if I can make a different choice. But also, what can you do to make yourself more comfortable? What can you do to outlast these 90 seconds of uncomfortability? That is where you choose a coping mechanism, where you can remove a barrier, like maybe taking off the jacket. Where can you remove something that is confining you in a way that isn't letting you feel free, that isn't letting you be you? Where can you remove something like that? Where can you lean more into simplicity? And I mean, all of life is like, we are just coping our way through, like, until we decide that we're not suffering. But it's still like, I mean, I was just thinking about what if it was easy, but still, to embrace struggle is to like relinquish its power over you. That sounds so dramatic. But it's that serious. But anyways, so it's like, that's where you choose a coping mechanism. And it's like, that's, I mean, how your habits are built, like what brings you joy can also, I mean, if you're looking at it in a really extreme way, it could be a sort of coping mechanism to like battle against the grief that society in general is going through right now. Yeah. Because that is kind of what it feels like it all boils down to. But how can you make these 90 seconds more comfortable is such an important question, because then it, like, that is how you decide what path you're like moving forward, what coping mechanism, how you are going to help yourself exist in this world. The 90 seconds is also so important because it's such a short amount of time that it kind of like snaps you back into the present. And the insurmountable grief that is brought on by living in a lot of today's societies, because like we are in a season of change, and I think we're in the season of destruction, and that has a lot of grief because there's a lot of destruction, and that's hard. But it's going to stay that way if we let ourselves get swallowed in it. It's all going to stay that way if we're just like, okay, it's ruined. It's awful. It's like, okay, well, what are we going to do to make it better? Where are we going to take off our jacket? We all have our addictions, whether it be a substance or shopping, you know, or getting tattoos, or like spending money in general, I guess, like sex, anything. Like we all have our vices, and it's really just kind of like, which story do you want to live out? Which risks are you willing to take? What vibe are you trying to bring? What vibe are you trying to create? Excuse me, that makes more sense. What coping mechanism will you choose? What barrier will you remove? The spiritual path, I've heard it described by someone, is like your spiritual practice should be like a empty room with a pillar in the center of it, an empty pillar, like a stand with nothing on it. Because so much, especially of Western society's understanding of spirituality, is like buying into something. Meanwhile, what's actually true is like getting to the bare minimum, noticing what's already there. What do you already have? What has already, because there is so much more than we can see, and you have to respect all of that is. You have to be aware of what's already there. Like so many intense spiritual paths include periods of silence, where you have to notice what's already there. And you have to choose what to see and how you see it, and that power of choice. It's all about choices. I feel like that's kind of what the main lesson of humanity is, because our bodies are animals, and our bodies are so loud and really hard to ignore. And so that feels like one of the greatest challenges, like the body is the greatest challenge of one of the greatest challenges of the soul's incarnation here, but also it is where we learn the most lessons. And so the power of choice with what we're going to do with ourselves and who we're going to be in this life and everything like that is the hardest part. Choosing what you know is good even though it's hard. Choosing what you know you want even though you are scared. Choosing what you know would bring you closer to who you want to be, even if that feels impossible. Wow, guys, that was a long one. I hope you enjoyed it. I asked if y'all would want longer episodes, so here we are. I feel like this time I just ended up having a lot more to say about this than I thought I would, and I've been having a lot more functional thoughts. Like, I'm excited to be talking more right now. Life in general is picking up speed with spring and everything like that. So it's exciting. It feels like new things are happening. The stem is coming out of the soil. I offer tarot card readings online. If you're in the Austin area, I'll have tarot card readings in person on May 9th at haymaker. And I have collages for sale online. Yeah, okay, I think that's it. I hope y'all are having a good time. I hope life is feeling full and radiant for all of you. And until next time, good night.